One of my favorite ways to make fire, and one of the most proven fire-making techniques for hundreds of years now, is flint and steel. When I say flint and steel, I'm talking about the old mountain man concept of fire making, where you have a piece of high carbon steel known as a striker. You strike that high carbon steel against certain types of rock like flint, chert, and quartz. This will produce a shower of hot but tiny sparks. These sparks are not big enough to produce a flame on their own. That's when you'll need something known as char cloth. You can make char cloth from 100% cotton material or materials found in nature like the bark of certain types of trees, grass, or even punk wood. The best way to make char cloth is to have some type of metal container. Place all your materials in that metal container, and that container will go into a fire. You're cooking your materials until they become a type of charcoal. Then your char cloth is able to catch those sparks, which will become your coal or ember. You place that into a tinder bundle and blow it into a flame. I've had several flint and steel kits that you can order off the internet. Some of them are pretty good, some of them are okay. But after researching, I have found a seller on eBay with 100% feedback since 2004. His eBay seller name is Clyde0470. That's all one word. But his real name is Vern Hussey. Vern can be found on Facebook. So we're going to call it Vern's Flint and Steel Kit. I have Vern's Flint and Steel Kit here, and let me just say this. It is the best flint and steel kit that I have used this far. I want to show you the kit at this time. Here we have Vern's Flint and Steel Kit. This is how I received my kit in this small metal container. The container is the same size container that the Breath Mint Altoids come in that you could get at any Walmart or Dollar General. You could fit this in your front pocket with your kit inside it for storage. Also, it is a metal container. If you was out in the wild and ran out of char cloth, you can cook more with this small container like this. I have cooked char cloth in a container exactly like this many times. So, score right there. Alright, for the kit itself, you get a really nice size piece of flint. I actually got 2 pieces of flint with this kit. The other one was not the same size as this, but it was a nice piece of flint. How flint and steel actually works is, you see there's a sharp edge on this flint. You take the striker, your high carbon steel striker, and you're scraping against this piece of flint. The flint rock itself is harder than the high carbon steel, and it will actually scrape off shards of steel when you hit them together, okay? And that's what produces those hot but tiny sparks, okay? Now, also the striker is included. This is a C-shaped striker, high carbon steel. I love the size and shape, and I'm going to show you why. Somebody with big hands, easy to get your hands in here. But also, while you're trying to, get you some sparks, trying to hit this steel against that sharp flint, your knuckles are protected. See the distance you have there between the steel and your knuckles? Your knuckles are protected, and you're not going to really mess yourself up and do some damage to your hand or your knuckles there. So I really like the size and shape of this. Also included is some char cloth made from 100% cotton material. This kit included some type of bark. I don't really know what that is, but I'm sure I'll use it one day, probably birch bark. But also it comes with this type of tinder. Now this is some type of natural material rope, and what you do is you just separate it like this. I just twist the fibers out like this, and you can see those fibers there, and you can make you a tinder bundle like this. And I actually have some rope like this that I have used before to make a tinder bundle. I'm going to make you one right now because we're fixing to make a fire using Vern's Flint and Steel Kit. But first I'm going to show you, as soon as I get this tinder bundle made, I'm going to show you the shower of sparks that Vern's Flint and Steel Kit will produce. And let me just say, Vern's Flint and Steel throws a shower of hot, tiny sparks. I haven't had any issues whatsoever in getting a fire with Vern's Flint and Steel Kit. It's in the middle of the day, and I don't think you'll have any problem seeing the sparks that Vern's Flint and Steel Kit will produce. Here we go. I can actually hear these things sizzle. And you can see, wow. Now, a lot of people have problems when they strike the carbon steel against their flint. And the problem is, many people are hitting their flint and steel. They're just hitting. What you're actually doing is basically just scraping. Now watch this. I'm not going to hit it. I'm just going to scrape it, and you'll be able to see some sparks here. See that? So basically, you're just trying to catch the edge of your flint with your striker and producing those sparks. I'm not hitting it that hard. I'm just scraping it. When I make fire with flint and steel, I like to place my char cloth on top of the flint. And I put the edge of the char cloth right along the edge of the flint. And when I strike with the striker, I like to angle my striker away like this. It seems to push all the sparks toward the char cloth. Let's see how many strikes it takes to catch some sparks in the char cloth. Looks like we got several there. First strike. You can see it glow orange. The wind's helping me there. Now, we take our char cloth that came with the Vern's Flint and Steel kit. Not our char cloth, our tinder bundle, I apologize. We place that, the wind's helping me there, and then we just basically blow it into a flame. Now we're just going to, the wind's really helping a lot. And there we have fire. Whew, that's hot. If you're looking for a really good flint and steel kit, I highly recommend Vern's Flint and Steel Kit. His eBay seller name is Clyde0470. And if you order a flint and steel kit from Vern, make sure to tell him that the Southern Survivor sent you.